Hello my adventurous peeps, this is Ket aka Kakibot and welcome to my fisherman cosplay fun power hour. This is NC 500 part 3. Now we made it to the west coast and in this third and final video we are gonna make it all the way from here, Kylesku, back to Inverness. So yeah, stay tuned if you want to see the final leg of our road trip adventure. We are starting today by hopefully hopping onto a little boat and taking a boat trip around there. One of the main reasons we are doing that is that it will take us to UK's tallest waterfall, which I'm quite curious about. And when we looked into what it would be like to hike there, it would take us about 3 hours there and back. And that is, you know, if we were able to walk as fast uphill as we are walking around the city. So it would probably be longer than that. And apart from being lazy, we also don't really have the luxury of that time. So instead, an hour and 15 minutes on a super adorable little boat will take us there comfortably, maybe coldly, but yeah, that's gonna be faster, economical, yes, perfect decision making. So yeah, stay tuned for our boat trips and sights and food and interesting hotels maybe. I hope you are ready for our little adventure. Yay!
This boat took us across Glandu, or the Black Glen, to get a better view of multiple points of interest: eagles, seals, and as mentioned previously, UK's highest waterfall. This is the Eilean, which translates to Waterfall of the Beautiful Tresses. It is usually a bit more dramatic, but what I found cool is that this little trickle still happens continuously simply due to the humidity from the morning mountain fog. It's kind of romantic.
So now we traveled towards Drombeg and that general area, and when you get to the very end of that peninsula you can visit this place, which is the Calkeen Jammery. And we thought we would visit here because when we were staying in our last hotel for breakfast they did have some of their jams, one of them being the banana jam, which is not something that you often get, and we both loved it. I'm thinking it's gonna be amazing with peanut butter. So yeah, we made a little pilgrimage and now this is our little pit stop where we're having little 450 sandwiches using some of their chutneys and relishes, and I bet they're gonna be tasty. Nice little soft white bread. That is delicious.
weather cleared up and became dramatically hotter, we made it to Achmelwich Beach. This is a popular holiday spot, but just next to it, hiding in plain sight, is a very unique spot. So that's where we're gonna take you next.
We made it to Hermit's castle, Europe's tiniest castle, and I would also say Europe's only brutalist castle. This thing has been built in about 1950 by this architect from Norwich who has been building it secretly without anyone knowing, which is why nobody really knows why he's built it. But I guess sometimes you just do things for fun, right? So when you make it to Achmelwich Beach, which is beautiful and everyone seems to be very distracted by its beauty, you can just say no to beauty and you can have a little hike over this peninsula where you're probably gonna sprain your ankle, but it's worth it because you get to go inside and be spooked by this thing. It's a mystery. Honey, I don't want to be here.
You shouldn't, it's weird.
Spot for lunch alert, the Lochin were larger. Get a savory or sweet pie here, hot or cold, the variety is wide, but trust me, whatever you go with, you'll have the best pie time. We dine in Shieldaig, right next to our hotel. This is an area known for its fish smokehouses, and we actually had some local salmon for both dinner and breakfast.
Good morning, peeps. Exciting news. Finally, we found like a souvenir shop. Souvenir and everything shop. There are some very spectacular, like kind of 90s looking postcards, like this rush hour in Scotland. And also, I keep seeing these all over the place. This is basically you always get like tiny magnets that someone has like taken a biro and written the name of the place on. Let me have a. Do you see it? Are you focused? It's just so bad it's good. I love it. And for $3.50, bargain. Now I'm actually gonna get into the car and we're gonna explore more fun places.
western part of NC500 is well known for being the place to be for fans of horticulture. We chose to stop by the Applecross walled garden, where you can grab a coffee or lunch and enjoy the beautifully upkept gardens. You can also keep going, make it into a little stroll, and say hi to their Highland coos and deer. Bealach is known as one of the most dangerous roads to drive in the whole of Scotland. It is a single-file road with steep points and requires full attention. Would have been nice to have the drone follow us down the road, but nah, we chose safely making it all the way down through the pass in one piece. Soon after what's possibly gonna be the most traumatizing drive of your life, you will be rewarded by a treat, and that treat is called Eilean Donan Castle. This is hands down one of the most photographed spots in Scotland, and it does get busy, so if you want to enjoy it from a serene spot, head to the viewpoint across the water which we used to take our shots. I'm gonna try and pop it into the map, and you will find the map in the doobly-doo. Finishing our trip at Loch Ness, and possibly the best B&B I've ever been to. If you do make it to the Loch B&B, please do yourselves a favor and opt in for the dinner. These were the best mussels I've had in my life. The hotel even had some paddle boards and canoes to borrow, so if you're after a bit of water-based adventure, this is your spot.
And so we made it to the end of our big NC 500 trip. We were so lucky with the weather, I can't believe it. Everyone keeps telling me if these videos go out, it's gonna be like fake advertising. I should probably warn you, this is not what Scotland usually looks like, but maybe if you're as lucky as me, maybe if you've, if you have some good karma, you might enjoy NC 500 exactly in this beautiful way. Although I'm gonna say that the weather, despite it overall being very beautiful, much better than what we expected, it still is very changey. What we have experienced was this pattern of usually in the morning until like 11 or 12, it would get quite cloudy and honestly quite cold, and then in the evening it would be so hot and you would really have this like need to like get into the sea. Sorry, something's crawling on me. Beasties. But the sea is very cold, so you probably don't end up doing it. It's like when you see the beautiful coastline with like the clearest water you've ever seen in the whole of Scotland. Nobody's actually in it. Everyone is using like paddle boards or canoes, which looks really fun. And next time I would love to try that. I think that I have plenty of things on my list that I wanted to do, but I couldn't, either because they were booked out, or maybe I just wasn't prepared. I didn't quite have the right gear for it, or simply we didn't have time. And I'm kind of happy to have all these things on that little list, because it means that I can force Simon to drive me around NC 500 again in the future. It's probably not going to be within the next year, but hopefully soon enough. Some of those things would be like whale watching tours, because those, first of all, they book out pretty fast, but also they take about 4 hours. So it's kind of like half a day chunk out of one of your days. And if you're giving yourself the sort of 5 days for the actual NC 500, the same way as we did, then you might not want to spend that amount of time. Another thing is quite a lot of distilleries. In our couple, I am not the driver, and I'm also not really the whiskey drinker. Therefore, we ended up kind of deprioritizing distilleries. But I think that in the future, especially if you tell me that you're interested in them, we would love to do some touring. Maybe with like an extra assistant who can drive us around, so Simon can drink and tell you what he thinks. That would be perfect. Timing wise, I was worried about the time, and as you can tell, there were things that I couldn't really afford to do. You know, the time, it kind of like flows by very fast, like much faster than when you're just sitting at work staring into your laptop. Everything, yeah. You're just burning through the day, and obviously in the summer we have plentiful hours of daylight, but it goes past so fast. It's kind of like on your wedding day. It's just it's this haze in which you're like quickly doing all these amazing things, and suddenly you arrive at the hotel and it's like 9 p.m. and you don't even have any time to actually relax. So on one hand, personally, I don't think I would want to be doing NC 500 for any longer. I think I would actually end up very exhausted. But if you're younger and more spry than me, then maybe if you can give yourself an extra 2 days to really like do a deep dive, really explore, especially if you're coming from abroad, then I would say go for it. With that extra time, you might also do quite a lot of hiking, get to viewpoints that we couldn't get to, maybe sometimes with our drone. But yeah, as a regular non-droney human, that might be a fun thing to do. And one last takeaway that I'm going to share from my first ever NC 500 experience is that there are so many egg honesty boxes. Like if you like your eggs, and maybe if you're camping and you want to be like making yourself a posh omelette every morning from local hens, then I would say that every day we saw about 5 roadside little egg boxes where you just leave some cash, pick up the eggs, and I think one of them was even goose eggs, so you can be très posh. Yeah, so that's something that really stuck in my mind. Okay then, I think that's it from me. I need to go and start editing these 3 videos as soon as possible. Thank you so much for hanging out with us during our first ever road trip like this in Britain. Let us know in the comments below if you know of any other cool British road trips, because for me this is like the perfect way of holidaying. I would love to do more, but I would love to share it with you. So if there's anything that you're particularly interested in, let us know in the comments below. If you want to see some photos from the trip, don't forget to visit me on my Instagram. On Kakibot it's mostly illustrations, but on Kakiblog you will see photos from this trip and from my life in Edinburgh. Like and subscribe if you want to see more mostly Edinburgh-based videos, but also just general useful info for visiting and moving to Scotland. Okay, that is it from me. I will now swing here on the swing in the deepest, darkest Aberdeenshire and have some dinner and finally relax, and I shall see you soon.